We're live.
All right, thank you, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the City of San Fernando Transportation and Safety Commission to order at 7:02 p.m. We'll start with the roll call.
Good evening, Commissioners. Chair Nicole Moore,
Present.
Vice Chair Clarissa Tolentino. Give me 1 second. I'm going to let her in. She's here.
Great.
Vice Chair Clarissa Tolentino.
Present.
Commissioner D. Aikman. Commissioner Francisco Arizon.
Here.
Commissioner Rudy Trujillo.
Present, and I'm going up an elevator. If I should lose you, I'll come right back in.
Okay.
But I am present.
All right, with all of us present, let's go ahead and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance to our very tiny flag that shall be oversized in our window.
Yes.
All right, right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag
of the United States
of America,
and
and
to the republic
for
which
which
it
which
stands,
stands
one
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 nation,
nation,
under
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 God,
God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and
justice
justice for all.
for all.
For all.
Well, we're not winning any awards for choral reading, but such is. All right, has everyone had a chance to take a look at the agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
So we have 3 pieces of new business: the San Fernando Safe and Active Streets ad hoc committee update, as well as a parking study update, and an update on the San Fernando street closures, approval of our minutes, staff communications, all of that wonderfully great stuff. Can I get a motion to approve our agenda?
I'll make the motion to approve our agenda.
Second the motion.
Okay, the motion, the agenda was Commissioner Arizon motioned to approve the agenda. Vice Chair Tolentino seconded that motion. Let's get a roll call vote.
Chair Moore,
Yes.
Vice Chair Tolentino. Vice Chair Tolentino.
Sorry.
Commissioner Aikman.
Yes.
Commissioner Arizon.
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes.
All right, so the agenda will be approved as written and off we go. So first, public statements. Do we have any public statements?
We don't have any public statements.
Oh, if anybody happens to be watching this video on YouTube later or today, I would just like to say that we would love to hear from you public with your concerns about our transportation and safety in our wonderful city of San Fernando. And you can submit them all the way up till 4 o'clock, the day of our meeting. With no public comments, we are moving on to approval of the minutes. Thank you so much for getting those to us in such timely manner. Has everyone had a chance to take a look at those?
Yes.
Yes.
Does anyone need another minute to dig those up? Or can we go ahead? If everyone's had a chance to take a look at them, would anyone like to make a motion to approve the minutes? Commissioner Arizon, I think you're speaking, but your mic is muted.
You're absolutely right. Thank you. I'll make the motion to approve the agenda for September 3rd, 2020.
We already did that. You mean the minutes for August 5th?
Oh, I'm sorry. yes. August 5th, 2020.
All right.
I'm over here looking at the other one.
All good. It's all good. Hey, I did the first
Thank
10
you.
minutes of my class today on mute. The Commissioner Arizon has motioned to approve the minutes of the August 5th, 2020 meeting. Can I get a second?
Yes, I'll say.
Seconded by Commissioner Trujillo. Let's take a roll call vote.
Chair Moore,
Yes.
Vice Chair Tolentino. Vice Chair Tolentino.
I see her box disappeared. I think it is possible that she got kicked out. Is she in the waiting room?
No, I think she got disconnected.
Yeah, hopefully she'll make it back. So she'll abstain for now.
Okay. Commissioner Aikman,
Yes.
Commissioner Arizon,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes.
With that, the minutes have been approved, the minutes of August 5th meeting, and let's move on to new business. So I believe it is Commissioner Aikman and I think it's Vice Chair Tolentino who are on the ad hoc committee.
I'm on the ad hoc committee for the parking study. I'm not on the one for the San Fernando Safe and Active Streets.
Oh, wait, no, we were talking about maybe forming one. That's what this was, right?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Matthew, do you want to help me out here? What is number one? I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I know the item was put on, I believe it may have been at your request, but I can give you a little bit of update on how things are proceeding. And I think I think you did discuss that at the last meeting.
I wanted to form one. I remember now. I got it confused with the parking thing. Go ahead.
Sure. I'll give you a little update, and I think it's good timing. Actually, we had our kickoff meeting today at 1 o'clock with our team, the company we brought on to help us with putting this together, as well as they have a sub-consultant that they use for outreach, community outreach. And basically we went over the schedule of the project, which would go out until we have to complete the project by February of 2022. That's when the funding that's tied to this project ends. So we have to complete everything by then. Over the next 3 months, we are going to be working on procuring the services of a transportation engineering firm to help us with design. And then their first step, once we bring them on board at the end of the year, beginning of next year, is reviewing data, looking at the old Safe and Active Streets plan that was done, and helping us to move forward to the next step of designing things, setting up our meetings with the community. One of the other steps that we're going to be working on through our consultant is setting up what's called the advisory group, which is around 12 to 15 members of the community, and it'll be a good cross-section of the community, people from schools, general people from the community, transportation, probably 1 or 2 members for the ad hoc committee, as well as 1 or 2 city council members could potentially be on this group. One of the things they asked me today in this meeting to brief you on this, but once we've established the ad hoc committee, the consultant would like to reach out to those 2 members and speak to them one-on-one and help with the development of this list of the advisory group, as well as I think there would be interaction throughout this project with the ad hoc committee and getting feedback and helping with setting up community outreach, things like that. So this is very good timing that we did meet with them, have the kickoff meeting today. So that's where we are right now. We will, for the next 3 months, we'll be setting up the RFP for requesting proposals from qualified transportation engineering firms. That takes about a month or so to get all of those back. We review them, we interview, and then we have to take that to our council for approval of a contract. And then it takes about another month from there for legal to get all of those, everything signed off and ready to go. So that's where our schedule puts us at, starting with the transportation engineering firm helping us start to review data and start the design on active transportation projects focused on bike paths, walkability improvements, things like that in the community. So we are at a good point now, and I think if you're wanted to discuss forming the ad hoc, I'll leave that up to you, and then I'll take down that information, share that with our consultant, and then those two individuals should be hearing from our consultant to discuss assistance with setting up that that advisory group.
Thank you so much. I really do think that forming an ad hoc here is important because I think it's something that we all really care about. And I think that we're very much in danger of violating the Brown Act if we accidentally all end up getting involved. So I think that it would be really smart to form an ad hoc for this. Any other thoughts on this, commissioners?
None here.
It's a great idea.
Well, I'd like to make a motion to form an ad hoc committee for the purpose of collaborating with the Safe and Active, am I saying that right? Yeah, Safe and Active Streets project. Would anyone like to second my motion?
Yes, I would like to second that motion to form that committee.
All right, Commissioner Trujillo seconds. So let's get a vote on forming the ad hoc first, and then we'll appoint people to it. Is that the correct order for this?
Yes, I believe so.
Thank you.
Chair Moore,
Yes.
Vice Chair Tolentino,
Yes.
Commissioner Aikman,
Yes.
Commissioner Arizon,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes.
All right, so with that, we have just formed an ad hoc committee to partner with the Safe and Active Streets Committee project team, I don't know, advisory team. I will put out there that I would very much like to be on this ad hoc committee, but if there's someone that feels more passionate or anyone who'd like to join me, so who wants to committee with me?
I don't mind committeeing with you. I think this is a perfect project for you.
I would love to join it with you. Anyone else, or we can talk it out? Oh, Pastor Trujillo disappeared.
You need a third person there or just
No,
two?
we can only have two. So
Oh, okay.
is there any further discussion? If not, I'd like to make a motion to to appoint to the committee myself and Commissioner Aikman.
That's fine with me. So I'll second your motion.
All right. So I think that'll work out very well because since Commissioner Aikman is on the parking commission, that makes it possible that we're able to have her input at meetings. And although I'm not on that commission,
Sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry about that, you guys. I got dropped. So sorry.
That's all right. So I made a motion to appoint myself and Commissioner Aikman to the ad hoc committee for the Safe and Active Streets project. So, and Commissioner Arizon seconded that. So we're going to take a roll call vote. And yeah.
Chair Moore,
Yes.
Vice Chair Tolentino, Vice Chair Tolentino,
Yes.
Commissioner Aikman,
Yes.
Commissioner Arizon,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes.
All right. So with that, both Commissioner Aikman and I will serve on the ad hoc committee for the Safe and Active Streets project, which I'm very excited for. And I know we're going to have to get to work very quickly because although February 2022 right now sounds a very long time away, I know in the world of city projects how quickly 18 months goes. So I look forward to getting safe and active on the Safe and Active project. With that, let's go ahead and move on to the parking study that I got confused with for a moment there. Apologies about that. I'm working 14-hour days, I feel like. Commissioner Aikman and Vice Chair Tolentino, is that who's on that ad hoc? Okay.
I have not heard from the people that are representing the city on the parking study. I got a few people together that were going to submit their suggestions regarding parking. And I'm waiting to hear from them.
Same
I don't-
here.
Are we allowed to have staff comment on this? Agendized now?
I don't mind comments at all.
Yeah, we can provide you with an update. We did reach out to our community development director, who is the lead for the city on the parking study, and he did indicate, I think because of COVID, there is a delay on. I think initially they had a plan on starting at a certain date, and that's been pushed out. So that's the reason why there hasn't been any action on it yet. He did indicate that that they would be looking at focused stakeholder meetings probably in the next month or so. So we should be having some reach out to the ad hoc committee here shortly, but the delay was due to the project getting slowed due to COVID. So I think that's where we are right now.
I don't know that the delay is necessarily a bad thing, actually, although I would definitely like our stakeholders to be able to submit their feedback. I am a little concerned about the lack of standard results because things are so strange right now. I don't leave my house really, and I think I'm not alone on that. So my car is always parked in my garage, which is not a very accurate depiction of my normal tendencies. And I think that that is pretty common these days. And I have heard from several other people as well that they're also like, wait, why are we studying parking when no one's leaving their house? So I guess the one question I would ask on that, and why I was glad to have it agendized, is are we in any danger of losing funding if we push this too far? Like, is there a deadline on this?
I would have to look into that, Chair Moore, but I believe we're kind of on the earlier side of funding for this study, so I don't believe there's an issue there. I do think, you touched on a valid point that's also factors into our timing on the Safe and Active Streets study as well, in terms of, the times we're going through right now aren't necessarily representative of what they would be normally. So I think that is the reason why we have to push out some of these things so that we can get a more accurate reflection in the study. But I would have to get back to you on the funding side of it. But I believe this was funded not that long ago, so we should be okay on that end of things. But I will get
I'm
you.
really comfortable with the timeline moving forward, but I feel like in contrast to the Safe and Active Streets thing, I think actually more people are out and about walking and riding their bikes and being active now than usual. So I think it's actually ideal timing to be having those stakeholder conversations. But it's probably not ideal timing to be counting numbers of cars that are looking for parking at any given time. So I'm comfortable with that timeline moving forward, but I would really love to just hear how much time we have to move forward and what their timeline looks like when you have a chance. So
Yeah, we can report back to you at the next meeting on that. Sure.
cool. Thank you very much. So let's keep this on the agenda for next meeting then, and we'll kind of keep an active study on it. Commissioner Aikman and Vice Chair Tolentino, I am so sorry that you have gathered the forces and rallied the forces only to tell them hurry up and wait. But please let all of the people who you have gotten feedback from know that their voices are very valuable and that we look forward to hearing from them.
Thank you. I just have a question regarding their concerns. Would it be reasonable if we just had them submit to somebody, like just tell them, just write out their concerns so that they have them on record? It might not be a perfect picture of what their daily parking lives are like, especially now since nobody is going out and looking for parking anywhere, but maybe just give a brief description of what life typically looks like for them on a normal day.
Actually, it would be wonderful if all of them could email their comments to Maria Padilla. It's on our agenda, because then it would literally go into record, be in our YouTube, be in our meeting, be in our minutes, and then you and Commissioner Aikman would be able to have it literally on record to say, here is the information from our meeting, to bring it forward once you all start meeting with the project team. So that is
I'm not really sure what they're going to be asking. I had the, I thought it was indicated that they were going to get in touch with these people and talk to them. So I don't know if it's going to be about criticism of past projects and things, or if it's suggestions as to how they can improve.
So I think I can address that. I think what they're looking at, Matthew, correct me if I'm wrong, but so they're talking about basically figuring out how to maximize the flow of parking. There are various things in terms of possibilities. So for example, I lived in Berkeley for a year, and in Berkeley, all throughout the downtown area, there are both meters as well as boxes where you can go and get the little parking slip that's printed out and, you know, put it on your dash and pay to park. And I know that we did have a pay to park situation at one point, but they don't really enforce it. And so there are areas of the city that have been pay to park before. And then there are a lot of areas like Maclay where it is not pay to park. And they are discussing things like that, as well as other places that could be, as well as even extending into what are the parking concerns going to be and the parking needs going forward as the city continues to grow, especially because we are going to end up being a major commuter hub once the, I can't think of the name of the line, the Foothill line, is it the Foothill line?
The new light rail line, the East San Fernando Valley.
San Fernando Valley line. I felt like there was a color or a name for it, but when the light rail is completed and the light rail connects to the Sylmar station, Sylmar San Fernando train station, that corner of San Fernando, that's that very edge where San Fernando meets Sylmar, as you see a lot more people move into that area with the idea that it is super close to a transit hub. And that area also, from a planning commission standpoint, could even get planning commission boosts for the city based on being super close to a transportation hub. And so then we have to look at what are going to be the parking implications of that and what does the city want to do about it going forward. So I believe that is basically what are people's opinions on paying for parking and how to deal with that corner of town once it gets more crowded. Is that accurate?
I think that's I think looking at, you know, just how parking is managed throughout the city as a whole and getting community input on that is the whole idea. Just like I said, I think their plan is to get back online with this and reaching out to the committee soon. So we'll continue to follow up this month. Hopefully, Commissioner Aikman and Commissioner Tolentino hear from them soon. But we'll continue to follow up on that. Hopefully by next month there'll be some movement on that.
But yes, in terms of emailing comments, if you could get people to email comments or to, I think, can they call in? No, I guess it's just emailed now. If we can get people to email their comments to Maria Padilla, then we would be able to have them read aloud. And it would mostly be comments on areas of major concern or areas that were of major concern before COVID, as well as things that they think are reasonable and not reasonable going forward. All right, so I think that about covers that topic, and I'd like to move on to our downtown San Fernando street closure update. Just a little bit of background on that. I had agendized that because as we look into parking and traffic and flow and safe and active streets, I am really curious, especially thank you, Sergeant Aguirre, for being here today. I almost didn't recognize you, not in uniform. And then I went, who is that gentleman over there in the corner? I'm really curious to know if there has been an increased amount of traffic on the residential streets surrounding it, if there have been any complaints from residents in the neighboring areas, as well as, I think I misunderstood the area that was closed, but how much of the street is it? And is it been really busy? Are there active patrons? I don't leave my house, so I don't know.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Chair Moore. So as far as the time frame that it was closed and the actual length of roadway, I'll defer to Matthew on that because I'm not actually 100% sure. But I do have the requested information just regarding enforcement activity. We have no recorded complaints for the time period that was requested, which is good. And I'm afraid this report's going to be a bit anticlimactic because there were no reported traffic collisions, injury or otherwise. There were no vehicles towed or stored for violations of the signage. There were 13 parking citations issued. 12 of those were for expired meter. One of them was for parking out of zone. And there were two other citations issued by police officers, one for tinted windows and one for obstructed plate. So those were equipment violations only. Now they may have been stopped for moving violations and the officer chose to cite for the equipment, or they may have just been stopped for those violations. But 15 citations issued, no collisions reported, no complaints recorded.
Anticlimactic is good in this circumstance.
And just to follow up on that, on Officer Aguirre's report, in answer to your question regarding the length of San Fernando that's being closed, the closure is between Brand and Maclay, and it's taking place every Saturday at 4 p.m. And then that closure is being taken away and the streets opened up again early Monday morning. So our public works staff has been going out and setting that up, putting up the barriers, putting up all the signage, and posting no parking 72 hours before through that section of the mall. In answer to your question in terms of business, I believe it's been steadily picking up for the businesses in that area and mainly for the restaurants that are on that particular block. I think they've seen some improvement, though. I think weekends like this weekend coming up with the intense heat might cause a little bit of a slowdown for them. But
it's also a holiday weekend.
True. That's true. But I mean, I think we're looking at possibly 113 degrees on Sunday, the last time I checked, and maybe 107 degrees on Saturday. So we are looking at some pretty intense heat coming up this weekend. But I think business has been slowly picking up as people have found out about it, and we've just been staff has been working hard to make sure that we have signs posted and the closures set up and taken away quickly. So that's how it started. It's been about a month now. So that's how it's been proceeding so far.
Would it be possible to get some photos?
Sure, I could reach out to the Mall Association and see if they've taken some photos during that.
I'm just thinking that when, I'm thinking of our local business owners, and I think that if we're going to do something like close a street to try to help them have better business during this time, that maybe some photos of what it looks like and what's going on circulated on our city's social media page would also help increase awareness of the fact that that area is closed and that the restaurants there have more space to space out and whatnot. Because I know over like in this end of town, some of them are cordoning off tiny sections of parking lots and doing the best they can. But yeah, if those ones have a lot more space, that might drive visitors over there. Might even inspire me to leave my house.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Any other commissioner comments? Has anyone been down there?
Well, I have to get out of the house once in a while to go get ice cream. That's what keeps me going. So I'm hoping not too much tonnage by the time we get back to normal walking around.
Same.
No comments here. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. It's so hard when we can't see everybody and whatnot. You haven't been
Comment about the ice cream or just no comments?
I just passed by, observed that there was people in the area, which was nice to see people coming out. Hopefully, the more that this is closed up, the people start knowing that it's there, and more people come out and do business in San Fernando.
Glad to here. Vice Chair Tolentino, did you get it? Have you seen it yet? I like don't barely leave my house, so I haven't seen it.
Yeah, no, I really have only gone to work and back, but my job is literally on the exact same street as my house, so I don't really see much of the city anymore at all. I think. Hello.
Yeah, we can. You're a little choppy, but we can hear you. It's all good.
Oh, sorry about that.
So I guess that is it for now. We will have to hopefully
I
get.
do have one comment. I've noticed that there's a motorhome on San Fernando. No, it's still the Truman, where Truman and San Fernando meet. And it's growing larger and larger. I think it's just over the line in the Sylmar. I'm not really sure about it, but it's right on the San Fernando Sylmar line, I'm sure. It's debris, and it's worse. It really looks like it's a bad situation there. And now I notice it's starting over on the other side of the street also. So if you get by there, take a look at it. See if it looks very dirty and cluttered. It's huge, and it's getting bigger.
Yeah, I have seen that too.
I don't know that we can actually discuss that in this particular business item. That sounds like it's not where the streets are closed. We had.
What? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I'm just thinking in terms of in terms of Brown Act, we probably can't actually have too much discussion on that right now, because I don't think it is in that area of the street closure, which is the business item that we're on.
No, it's not in that area at all.
So
not at all.
Let's pause that for a second, and I'm gonna move that conversation to commissioner comments. We'll start with you first. So if there are no other comments on the downtown street closure update, let's go ahead and move on to commissioner communications. So Commissioner Aikman's commissioner communication is, for the sake of our minutes, that she's concerned about the area on the border of Truman and San Fernando. That we're,
right. I'm pretty sure that it's probably right over the line into Sylmar, but it's big. I mean, has the police department had any problems with that encampment?
We have, Commissioner, and you're correct in stating that those, we'll call them encampments, are just outside our city limits. And it seems that the people that set those up are very well aware of the San Fernando city limits, and they're very careful to set up just outside them to avoid any kind of enforcement activity. When we do get citizen complaints, which is not uncommon, I always refer them to the appropriate LAPD jurisdiction, whether it's Foothill or Mission, and I specifically refer them to what's called their senior lead officer, and or a SLO. At LAPD, a senior lead officer is responsible for quality of life issues within a designated area, and so they are the ones who are primarily responsible for taking initial enforcement. But LAPD's current guidelines on dealing with those types of issues, encampment issues and homelessness issues, differ from ours somewhat. So they don't take quite the same enforcement action for vehicles, for example, that are parked for long periods of time, or for debris in the roadway and obstructed sidewalks and things of that nature. So, when it does encroach into the city, we do take the appropriate enforcement action after giving proper notice. But those two particular encampments that you're referring to are not within the city limits.
Well, I know they need a place to live, but it looks unhealthy. It really is. It's pretty ugly.
thank you very much for that communication. Next, Pastor Trujillo, Commissioner Trujillo.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say other than appreciate everybody on this, especially as we're preparing for the new, how can I put it, the new voting, people running for office this coming time around. I just pray in the nombre del Padre, Espíritu Santo, that everything goes well. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Edison?
Have a couple of things. Say one is some time ago I brought it up and sent some pictures to Public Works in regards to library and Fairmore. Right in the corner, there was somewhat of a big pothole there for a while. The city came graciously, did a wonderful job, but as you know, patching doesn't hold forever, and it started giving away, and they finally redid the street, and it looked fabulous, wonderful. And that same area where that pothole is, I sent them pictures that it was falling apart and it was starting to come back. And my fear was that if we didn't get on it right away, then we would lose the warranty that we had on the paving of the street. And they came and they marked it, but that's it. They never came back and redo it or anything. Either the city or the contractor that was supposed to. I'm assuming that still had the warranty, but it's right on the corner, right by the stop sign. And it's on Library. You can't miss it. And then the other, I don't know if it's where it's going to be just a comment. I talked to a couple of businesses that the city has assisted them in cording off safely so people can eat outside by the city lending them these orange K-rails that are plastic. You fill them with water and they're just as good as a concrete one. But what I did notice, one place that I went to, and then I observed in the others as well, that they were very dusty. And I asked the question, so when did these come on board here? And they said, oh, well, they just brought them over just a few days ago on one place, and then another it's been there for a while. And they even had spider webs on them. And I said, wait a minute, is the city lending them these K-rails, which they're very grateful, but they didn't give them to them, at least spiders free. So I don't know if here is the proper form to address it, but I thought I would bring it up under our comments. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Commissioner Edison. Would you like to agendize the pothole? Or I guess let's wait till we get to staff communications.
Well, my understanding is that that was under Public Works, that they would do it under repairs, and it didn't need to be agendized. It's just they didn't know about it, and I made them aware, send them some pics of it and everything. I don't know if they still have them.
Recently,
but
right?
Huh?
Recently?
No, that was just before the COVID-19 came on board. So I said, oh, I'm gonna let it go. So it's been at least 3 months. Yeah.
Would you be willing to follow up on that? And if it sounds like you're not getting the response that you want, that we'll agendize it?
Sure.
Thank you. Vice Chair Tolentino. Apologies, Vice Chair Tolentino. We can't hear you. Would you like to put your commissions in the chat and I'll read them aloud?
I can't really think of anything right now. The only thing that I did hear a lot.
You're muted.
Give me a moment while I type.
We'll go out of order and I will just say that I have no comments.
Is this fine?
Yes, go ahead.
I'll just put them in the chat so
Yeah,
that
I'll read
you
them
can
aloud.
read them out loud.
This is how most of my classroom goes lately anyway. People chat, I speak it aloud, I feel like it's all good.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay, Vice Chair Tolentino says that she's heard
the
that
kids
she's a little
focus.
concerned with small restaurants opening up, that some people are a little concerned about the small restaurants opening up. All right. That they have seen people eating outside, but no distancing. Yes, I think that was essentially what I had hoped the street closure will improve is the distancing. So thank you very much for bringing up that comment. I think it is one that many people feel. And if the street closure in downtown is going well, then maybe there could be other small sections that it could. All right, let's go ahead and move on to staff communication. I have no comments today.
All right, so the only thing I have is the Glen Oaks Boulevard update. It's moving along. We have paving scheduled for later this month into next month. So it's almost complete. That's all I have.
Our residents will be so pleased. Thank you so much.
Moore, I do have an update on enforcement. The police department conducted its first DUI and driver's license checkpoint in, I don't know, probably 10 years or close to 10 years on Friday night, August 21st. And that was made possible by a grant from the Office of Traffic Safety and the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration. And some rough numbers, because I don't have all of the final numbers, between 550 and 600 vehicles went through the checkpoint. We set up the checkpoint roughly from about 7:30 p.m. to about 1:15 a.m. At San Fernando Road at what we call the East City limits.
What day?
I'm sorry?
What day of the week?
It was a Friday night.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes. And out of that checkpoint, we made 5 arrests, 3 for DUI, 2 for controlled substances. And officers actually got into 2 pursuits of drivers trying to evade the checkpoint and then flee. And we wrote a number of citations for unlicensed drivers and stored a few vehicles for suspended driver's license as well. We will be doing another checkpoint. That same grant provides for 2 checkpoints for this grant cycle. And that one will be held on Friday night, the 18th of September, at a location to be determined. We will be sending out a formal press release ahead of that. But also I invite any of the commissioners that are interested in seeing the inner workings of a DUI and sobriety and license checkpoint to join me out there for, maybe 15 or 20 minutes. And I can kind of walk you through the ins and outs of how we conduct a checkpoint. It's actually pretty interesting. And I think it would be informative for any of you that are interested to come out and see how we screen the vehicles and how we conduct the operations of the checkpoint. So if any of you are interested in that, just send me an email to my city email.
Thank you so much. I would very much be interested in that. I had intended to apply to do a ride along in April when I heard that, so that we don't accidentally kill you all, that ride alongs were not happening. So I would be very interested in a socially distanced observation of the checkpoint. So I will send you an email. Thank you.
Excellent.
Drive the car.
Yeah.
And work the siren.
Not so much that, probably. All right. Any other staff communications?
I don't have any further. I think I had a chance to talk to you about the items tonight, so I'm good.
All right. Anything else, Maria?
Nothing.
Wonderful. All right, then. I think we're at our favorite part of the meeting. Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make the motion to adjourn the meeting for September 3rd, 2020.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Arizon. Anyone second?
Commissioner Trujillo willing to second that.
We all agree.
Chair Moore,
Yes.
Vice Chair Tolentino,
Yes.
Commissioner Aikman, Commissioner Arizon,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes.
All right, with that, this meeting of the Transportation and Safety Commission is adjourned at 7:47 p.m. Thank you all.
Everybody.
Have a wonderful evening.
Good
Good
night.
Thank you.
And stay
God
safe,
bless
everybody.
everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night. Have a great evening, everybody.
Have a
Bye.
good Labor Day. It's the day of my daughter's birth too.
Happy birthday to your daughter. Bye.